Hello, my name is AGBOLADE FLOURISH, a member of Group 27, and it's amazing going through this journey.
My name is QUADRI. I'm a member of Group 27, and I'll be taking you through the development phase to the maintenance phase.
My name is Peter Ojo. I'm a member of Group 27, and I'm going to be talking about system development strategy and buy strategy.
Hello everyone, my name is TAIWO. I'm a member of Group 27. I'm talking about the human element in system development and procurement. Thank you.
Hello, my name is AGBOLADE FLOURISH, and on behalf of Group 27, I'd like to open the floor by introducing the topic, systems development and procurement. Firstly, we're going to be checking in on our learning objectives. First thing we're going to be learning is the systems development lifecycle. Next up, we're going to be learning the software development strategies, strategy selection, build versus buy, human element, and then we'll move further to the conclusion. Firstly, we'll start with the introduction. What is information? Information is known to be defined as a group of data, related or unrelated, where put together can actually be used for decision making. What is the system? A system is a set of laid down structures that actually helps information to be collected, to be stored, and to be brought back when needed for information, when decision making is concerned. And now, talking about information systems. This is an integral part, an integral set of components for collecting, sorting, and storing data, for providing information and knowledge for business intel. When business intelligence is concerned, information systems play a very, very vital role, especially when it comes to sourcing out data from the general public, sourcing out data from internal sources for business intelligence. Who are the stakeholders of information system? We have the suppliers, we have the customers, we have the competitors, and the marketplace. Suppliers, we need data from suppliers in order to get information on what they need, what we need to produce. We need data from customers to know their unique tastes, to know how to develop our products and our services. We also need information from competitors to know how much and how far they are doing better than us and how we can improve up to standard. This is an introduction. Next up, we have the systems development life cycle. The systems development life cycle. Systems development life cycle takes into consideration the beginning to the end of developing an information system. The systems development life cycle has 7 phases and it begins with planning, analyzing, design, development, testing, implementation, and ends with maintenance. Firstly, we're going to be going up with planning. The goal of planning is to define the need for the project, to assess its importance to the company and determine its feasibility. Need for planning arises because there are many innovative ideas for projects, but limited resources available, like materials, time, and funding. So planning is actually a system and a process put in place that actually helps us to know why we actually need to embark on a particular project. It helps us to assess the importance and the feasibility of a project. The feasibility of a project in the sense that how achievable is this project with the current resources at hand, with the current materials at hand, and the current time frame we have for developing an information system. Next up, we're going to be going up to assessing business needs. There are 3 factors or determinants to consider when planning. The first one is return on investment. Before planning, the first stage of the cycle, you need to understand the return of investment. Is the return on investment, is it high? Is it low? The return on investment is one of the determining factors that will help the organization or the managerial body or the board know whether to embark on a particular information system process or not. The second is competitive advantage. What is the competitive advantage talking about? The competitive advantage is talking about what unique value proposition your company has to offer from obtaining information systems. Now, the last one on the list is risk management. Risk management speaks about the processes in achieving or collecting or storing information into your database. What are the risks involved? How can you manage these risks? And next, we are going to feasibility study. What feasibility study actually talks about is, after planning these projects, you can have multiple projects at hand. After planning them, what is the feasibility of actually achieving these projects? Okay, considering the materials, considering time, considering funding, what is the feasibility? That's what feasibility study is all about. Next up, we're going to be talking about analyzing. This is the second stage of the cycle. This is the actual evaluation of the features of an information system structure. In this stage, the company can prioritize as mandatory, preferred, or non-essential. What analyzing is talking about is an evaluation feature. Analyzing is all about understanding the information structure and using this information structure to actually prioritize projects in the company. You can either prioritize as mandatory. Mandatory means it is very, very important and vital, which means it cannot be actually forgone for another project. Preferred means, well, if there's enough resources, if there's enough funding, if there's enough time, the project can be undertaken. Meanwhile, if there are not enough resources, if there's not enough time, the project might not be undertaken. The last but not the least is non-essential. The non-essential means after analyzing, using your information system on ground, after using data to analyze a particular project, you notice that it is not essential for the company. You can realize it's not essential by going through some analysis and some evaluation that will actually show that probably the return on investment is not enough, or probably the risk margin is very high. So these are factors that to consider to know and analyze a project. Up next, we'll be going to the process diagram. What is the process diagram? The process diagram traces how each life cycle process operates from beginning to the end in a way that it's clear to shareholders. This helps optimize opportunities and eliminate unnecessary steps. So basically, this process diagram actually shows a step-by-step cycle process. And this step-by-step cycle process, it actually shows in a diagram way or in an illustration the particular process from beginning to end in developing an information system. What this actually helps us do is that it helps us to eliminate steps that are not necessary. In the process, in the 7 processes of the development cycle, there are some steps in some particular processes that might not be useful. So basically, this process diagram actually helps us to curb the time that will be wasted in actually undergoing those steps, and actually help us to also optimize your steps that are already on ground for the process. Then we'll move up to design. Design, this phase involves translating analysis outputs into workable technical design. Here, information system architecture is drawn up and technical details are addressed. Basically, what design is talking about is the third step or the third process of the cycle. Design has to do with converting a technical analysis from the previous step, the second step, into an architectural design. Architectural design in the sense that it shows the outlays, it shows how things are going to be done, it shows the hierarchy, it shows the interconnectedness between various staff, the software, and how we regulate the information systems within and actually outside the organization when application is involved. We have the architectural design. This pertains to software development and hardware architecture of information system. This choice affects IT staff and other system components. So basically, the architectural design takes into consideration software development and hardware architecture of information system. Architectural design, like I said earlier, it shows the outlays, it shows the gradual process, it shows the illustration of how everything will be outlaid. We'll move on to data models and database design. This pertains to software development and hardware architecture of information system. Okay, so basically data models and database design deals with the particular models and frameworks that have been put in place when retrieving or storing your information systems. So basically the organization uses information systems to actually upgrade themselves, to make predictions, to actually upgrade the way they offer their services or their products. So the data model actually put in place is a combination of related information from the database used to form a data model that actually be applied when trying to analyze or make a particular decision as an organization or as a business. These are the first 3 cycles of the developmental process. I will hand over to my colleague who will take us on the remaining steps and the remaining cycles of the developmental process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. That was amazing. My name is QUADRI. I'm going to take you through the remaining 4 steps of system development stage. Starting with the development phase. Okay, the development phase is the phase that comes immediately after the design phase, and it's all about actualizing the design. That is, converting the design into an operational information system. What happens during this phase is that this phase might require developers to work together for months to convert the design into an operational system. And doing this might take a lot of effort. Okay. I take a lot of effort. Now, there are some software they use to manage this the process so that the work will be streamlined to an easy process. That is, okay, they are here already. So we have software used by developers to streamline the work. We have the first one, which is the version control software, followed by the project and user tracking software, and followed by the code review software. Now, what does the version control software does? Now, the version control software is a software that is used to manage each version of source code so that each developer won't have their work mixed up. Okay. Then the next one, which is the project and issue tracking software, is used by developers. It has a feature that helps developers to track each other's work and stay aware of all the aspects of their project. Then the last one, which is the code review. Code review is it has a tool that enables the developers to check each other's work and the process is through and the difficulties they are facing so that they can put us together and solve the issue and get a particular result. Now, moving on to the next phase, which is the testing phase. The testing phase is all about checking how well the information system, the system development and testing phase is all about checking how the system is working. That is, the system working well, that kind of question. So now, it doesn't start after the development phase. It starts before that. That is, during the development, when individual modules are developed, they test them before moving to the they test them out to check if they are working fine. Then after that, after the individual models are working perfectly, then they test the system as a whole after the development phase. That is to see whether each individual modules are working well together as a whole. So what happened? There are different kind of testing that we can perform. We have the unit testing, that is testing the individual modules. And as I said it happens before the development. It happens during the development phase. And the next one is the system testing. That's all about testing the system as a whole. That is testing all the individual modules, how well the individual modules are working together as a system. And it is done by the IT staff and the end users. So the stress testing is just about testing the system when there will be a lot of load on it. That is when there will be a high peak of load on the system. Okay, then the next one is the parallel testing. The parallel testing has to do with testing how the old system is performing better than the new, how the new system is performing better than the old system. That is, in this kind of testing, the old system and the new system are run together, and now they compare the results and see how well the new system is doing what we want it to do, that the whole system cannot do. Then the next one is the integration testing, which has to do with how well the system and its components are working well together. Then the last one, which is the acceptance testing, will be the final testing to see whether we are going to approve of the new system developed. So now I'm going to move to the next stage, which is the implementation phase. And this phase involves all the steps, which is to install the information system, that is to put it in place in the organization. And it can be done in 3 different ways, which is the first one, which is the parallel implementation. Parallel implementation is just kind of implementation whereby the new system will be installed without removing the old one, and the two will be used together. Then the developers will compare how the new one is working compared to the old one. They use both old system and the new system together without removing the old one. Then we get our results on the new one and the old one. We compare the results and see how they are different, check whether there will be an improvement or not. So we go to the next one, which is the phase 1. In this kind of implementation, each individual module are installed not at the same time, but at different times. That is, when an individual module is completed, we install it, we see how it works. Then after, we go to the next one, then until all systems, all individual modules are installed to get the whole system working together. Then the last one is the direct implementation. Here, this kind of implementation is just a one-step approach to implementing system. That is, employee can leave the work today and come back tomorrow and see that we have new system. This involves removing the old system and installing the new one entirely. This is very risky because if the new one can't, if there's an issue with the new one, you remove the old one, then you will surely have a problem if there's an issue with that new system. Okay, so I move to the next page, which is the maintenance phase. Okay, this phase is just about making sure that the systems are in the right condition. That is, and also it involves all the work needed to support the system and the changing the business requirements. So what we do here in this page is, okay, check if there is an issue with the system, or if the employees are having issues using the system. We go through, we check for the problem, and if we see that there's a problem, we solve the problem. That's just all this stage is about. And as you can see, it involves fixing bugs, changing an aging or information system, or when there's a change request, or when an employee is making a change request, we make changes to the system. Okay, so that will be the last stage. As we discussed, we said that the system development, the system development stages are divided, consist of 7 stages, and we talked through from planning to maintenance stage. Now I'm going to pass to pass to my colleague to discuss the strategy for development. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Peter Ojo. As my colleague has discussed earlier, they discussed the system development lifecycle. System development lifecycle has 7 phases. So I'm here to discuss system development strategy. We have 3 system development strategy. We have waterfall software development, iterative method, and agile method. What's waterfall system development? Waterfall system development, this method uses a sequential life cycle to develop the product, the system. While iterative method, this method, the development team are the one that decide the time frame and the sequence of the life cycle they are going to use for development of the product. While agile method uses an unstructured approach, which they choose. They might be developed. They do it non-sequentially. They do it simultaneously, where they can actually be developing and be analyzing at the same time. So the next one I want to talk about is factors that determine system development strategy. We have 2 factors that determine system development strategy. One, we have type of the project. This talks about developing a system. The project we are developing will determine how the strategy we are going to choose and how we are going to do it and how we are going to approach it, the life cycle and the system and the method we want to use to develop the product. So the second one is organization culture. Organization culture talks about choosing this strategy. You need to consider what the organization normally do, what the system they've used before, their previous experience in developing, and the way they do their things, the way the employees are familiar with the organization. So now, if organization didn't develop their products, their system themselves, they can buy. So now I want to go to buy strategy. Buy strategy. So at times, companies try to check from external sources, check from the best experts in the industry, in the production sector, which one is better, either buying or developing its information system. So when organization checks the markets and they check industries that produce system, when they see that their information system is a good one for them and the prices are good. So there's a process in buying or in procuring an information system. Before the development team or the procurement team, they use these 3 methods to buy from the external sources. The first one, they request for information from the external sources. They request for a quotation. They request for a design. They request for all information they need about the data, about the system, the external individual wants to sell to them. So the second one is request for proposal. The organization now have seen the design, they've seen what the external individual wants to sell to them or external organization wants to sell to them. Now they request for the prices and they bargain. That's when what they bargain. And the last one is what evaluation of the option. When now they have actually gotten the product they want to buy, maybe one or two, and now they need to check like which one is best for the organization from past experience, because the buying is different from developing. So if the organization is developing, they are developing in their own standard. For buying, they need to evaluate the options they have. They need to evaluate the one that best fits for the organization at that time. So they evaluate the options they have, they check for the one that works, that helps the organization achieve the objective of the organization. So when organizations have evaluated the option they have, and they now choose the best one out of the whole organization that presents a strat that wants to buy from them, that they want to buy from. So I would like to give my colleague the background to continue.
Hello, everyone. My name is TAIWO. Okay. In conclusion to what my colleagues have said, I'll be talking about the human element in system development and procurement. Here, we are going to be identifying several ways in which human element is important to system development and procurement. There are three different topics we are going to be talking about. That's the communication with the constructional teams, the roles of the senior management, and working with consultants. Okay, communication with cross-functional teams. People who don't often work together will join cross-functional teams, and communication problems may arise. Communication gaps and different priorities may appear between different business units, like marketing and the accounting unit, or the IT and marketing unit. Whether the team decides to build or buy, the members will need to bridge the gap between those gaps. The communication, they have to bridge the gap between the communication gap, and in order to get a successful decision, in order to make a successful decision. Next, we are going to be talking about the roles of senior management. The roles of senior management is a very key role in system development and procurement. They can inspire employees to work together, ensure the resources the project teams need and available, and so on. However, senior management can sometimes get involved in decision making that might falter the procurement or development process of systems. So it's advisable that senior managers should make sure they are making good decisions whenever they are involved in system development or procurement. Next, I'm going to be talking about working with consultants. This is whereby management will need to work with some practitioners, professionals, consultants that can take up some roles, such as training of staff, the staff that are going to be using the information system that will be developed or produced and that will be developed or procured. Secondly, project planning. They can help plan projects, like if you are going to be developing a system, you can help plan what way to go, project planning, and then requirement gathering and clarification. Okay, that's all we have for now. In conclusion to what everyone has said, my colleague spoke about system development lifecycle, which involves 7 phases. We have the planning phase, the analyzing phase, the design phase, development phase, testing, implementation, and maintenance phase. Secondly, we talk about the software development strategy, which involves 3 strategies. That's the waterfall strategy, the iterative method, and the agile method. Then we talk about approaches in which companies can decide what strategy to use when they are developing an information system. We talked about the type of the project, and then we also talked about the organization culture. Okay, finally, we spoke about software procurement, that is by decision. Yes, in situations whereby the company is not producing, it's not developing an information system, the company can buy from a company that produces an information system. So we talked about the processes involved in the procurement of information system. And lastly, we talked about the human element involved in system procurement and system development, where we talked about communication on cross-functional teams. We talked about working with consultants, and finally, we talked about the roles of senior management in system procurement and development. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Taiwo. I would like to just give a brief recap of what we've done. What I've actually learned from information systems development and the life cycles that actually pertain to developing information systems is that information system is a very, very key and vital part of any organization. And it's a necessary requirement if any organization out there wants to actually thrive, if any organization out there actually wants to do better than its competitors right outside in the marketplace. So I feel information system is very much as crucial as every other part of the organization, because it's this data that is collected from both in and within the organization and outside the organization that actually sums up the business intelligence used to actually probably offer services, that is used to actually build up structures and systems, offer positioning and so much more. So thank you so much, and thank you. Once again, we are Group 27. My name is AGBOLADE FLOURISH. My other group members, additional TAIWO, Peter Ojo, and Biliamin Abiola.
Well,